Hello, internet fans. Welcome to 3B Video. I'm your host, Rotten Roger DeMarco, and today we're going to be talking about my top 5 horror films from 1994. Let's do it. And then I swoop in with the little disclaimer. The way that I do these rankings is not by which films did the best in the box office. The way that I do these rankings is by the amount of fun that I have with each film. So my list and your list probably going to be way different, unless you're exactly like Uncle Roger. But if you're not, that's totally cool too. Everybody likes different flavors of Kool-Aid. Am I right? But with that out of the way, let's get started. So coming in at my number 5 horror film from 1994 is Brian Trenchard Smith's Night of the Demons 2. Save some room for the Holy Ghost. I've reviewed this movie. Click it. I've talked about this movie a lot. This movie is super fun. Sure, it doesn't have Linnea Quigley like the original, but what we get is a Catholic school full of sinners ready to sneak out and go on a Halloween party, fool around with each other, canoodle, poke each other, do dirty things with one another. And where do they go? But Hull House. And they bring something back with them. They bring back the demons. And the demons run rampant at this Catholic school, and it's so much fun. Everything from super soakers filled with holy water, balloons, condoms. It's very, very popcorn as fuck. Super silly. I might actually like this one more than I like the original. At least I tend to watch it more than the original, which is probably blasphemous in some of your eyes, but god damn, this movie's super fun. So it had to make my list. If you have not seen Night of the Demons 2, you should probably find a place to buy that and watch it because it's so silly. And every time I watch it, I just have a blast. So again, that's why it made my list. But moving on to my number 4 horror film from 1994 is Don Coscarelli's Phantasm 3. Lord of the Dead. If you're a longtime subscriber to this channel, that probably doesn't come as a surprise to you guys. I've talked about this movie in passing. I've told stories about my first viewing of this movie, so it holds a very near and dear spot in my heart. It's just super silly, and you have a kid as the lead, running around with a 6-shooter, driving that muscle car, and it was just perfect for little me. When I was a kid, kind of wetting my whistle with horror. This was a movie where I went, that kid actually kind of looks like me. I could be that kid, The Phantasm franchise for me has always been kind of weird. Like, it's very tough to make sense of the things that are going on, but that doesn't stop me from having a lot of fun with individual entries. The franchise as a whole confuses the shit out of me, but Phantasm 3 is like the peak of the fun in the franchise for me. And again, I think that's because there's a kid as the lead. There's some boobs. There is really, really impressive gore in this movie. And you have Reggie, the everyman hero. So, what's not to love about Phantasm 3? So that's why it had to make my list, because it's a barrel of fun, guys. Or it's a sphere of fun. There was a joke in there. I failed at it, but you get the point. But moving on to my number 3 horror film from 1994 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Double Wes Craven coming at you. Again, for longtime subscribers of this channel, you have heard me say how much I love this movie. I put this movie up on a pedestal when it comes to the Elm Street franchise for a lot of reasons. 1, we get Wes Craven back. 2, we get Heather Langenkamp back. 3, I love that Freddy design. And it gets kind of scoffed at, kind of looked down upon when it comes to the look of Krueger across the franchise. But for me, man, as a kid, it used to scare the bejesus out of me. There's a lot of things in this movie that are super heavy, and it's not fun in that popcorn sense. It's a very heavy, very scary movie, and I think that's why I like it so much, is because if I want that slapstick fun Krueger, I'll go with 4, 5, and Freddy's Dead. But if I want Freddy to terrify me, it's 1, 2, 3, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And you can't talk about Wes Craven's New Nightmare without saying, it's Wes Craven testing the meta film right before Scream. If we didn't have Wes Craven's New Nightmare, we wouldn't have Scream. and there would be a lot less horror fans running around. So, hoorah, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. If you haven't seen it, for whatever reason, do yourself a favor, find a copy, check it out, because Krueger is back. Krueger is scary, he's like bigger, and he wears leather pants. If any of you are into leather pants, there's like a Friends joke in there, right? Didn't Ross have leather pants and he had put baby powder? I don't know, somebody probably knows. Either way, that's why Wes Craven's New Nightmare made the list. But moving on to my number 2 horror film from 1994 is Jeff Burr's Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings. I reviewed this back in the day, and I'm gonna say it like I said in my review.
Don't you ever let me catch you saying a bad word about Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings.
My wife is shaking her head behind the camera.
I just think it's a stupid fucking name.
Stupid name. We'll just call it Pumpkinhead 2. It doesn't have to be subtitled Blood Wings. Red Wings, earn your.
That's what it reminds me of.
Right? It's a, you know. But, listen here. We've got Amy Dolenz from Ticks. We've got that dude with the greasy hair who plays the boyfriend in Return of the Living Dead 3. Sorry, dude, forget your name. You're always a douche in a flannel shirt with the sleeves ripped off. That's okay. I like you. We got R.A. Mihailoff. We got Kane Hodder. We've got Linnea Quigley. We've got Andrew Robinson. The fucking cast is stacked. The movie, it's a little hokey. But guess what? It's super fun. It's a fucking 10-foot pumpkin head monster demon chopping people up. It's just awesome. And it gets a bum rap. I love this movie despite its numerous shortcomings. And I know that it's not as good as the original in a lot of people's eyes, but man, Pumpkinhead 2 for me, that's the king. That's the benchmark. You'll never do as good as you did in Blood Wings. Whatever you want to subtitle it. Just Pumpkinhead 2. If you haven't seen Pumpkinhead 2, do it. I think Scream Factory put out a Blu-ray, which has long since gone out of print, which is why I only have a DVD of it that's full frame. I know, shame on me. But either way, see Pumpkinhead 2, because it's got everybody you want to see and a 10-foot pumpkin monster. But enough. Let's get on with the list. To my number 1 horror film from 1994 is John Flynn's Brain Scan. Didn't come as a surprise to you, or you, or you, did it? No, because if you're a long-time subscriber to this channel, you know the genesis of the 3B video, or even way back, 3B Productions, or 3B Production Co., or Repulsive Reviews, Rotten Roger. I have been rambling about Brain Scan since I was allowed to ramble about movies. That's where the name Buddies Forever came from. That's where we started our live stream, was because of the Horror Movie Fan Club in Brain Scan. There's a lot of deep cuts to Brain Scan littered throughout our channel. Death, Death, Death Part 2, anytime we reference a gallbladder,
Yada yada.
If you don't know about this film, here we go. Same old spiel Uncle Roger has done a million times. I was gonna say pre-drug problem Edward Furlong, but it might be mid-drug problem Edward Furlong. He's like a super horror geek. He likes gaming. He's got a lot of money, or his dad has a lot of money, so his dad gives him a lot of things to make up for the fact that his dad's not there. But he's a loner, he's a loser, he's a nobody. And he's got one friend in the entire school, and they make the Horror Movie Fan Club. And they're also obsessed with playing video games. Well, they find an ad for Brain Scan, a new game in a Fangoria. Edward Furlong never sends off for it or anything, the game just shows up. And when Edward Furlong plays it, he realizes it's not a game, it's real life. And he is actually committing these murders, these violent acts. So he has to have a showdown with Trickster, who runs Brain Scan. There's a little bit more to it. You've heard me say that. There's a little bit more to it, and we'll get into it, yada yada, which I did review Brain Scan when the channel first came back. So click one of them. I can't say enough good things about Brain Scan. It's one of those weird movies that not a lot of people know about or knew about when I was a kid, So whenever you ran into someone who knew about brain scan, you guys were like literal buddies forever. And that's actually kind of the genesis between me and Evil becoming buddies forever. So I owe this movie a lot. And that's why it made my #1 horror film from 1994. So let me know yours down here. And let's talk about other movies that I might have missed. And all of that hoopla. But I suppose I should probably get going, because after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not me, right? Oh, Michael, don't you have anything good? Behind the scenes shenanigans. I'm on my mark. I can't do anything. She has to. Are we good? We're
I'm
looking.
not showing this to anybody.
Oh, it's going at the end.
No, it's not.
Going to the end.
No.
So do I need to do that whole Wes Craven's thing again? Okay.